Thank you for joining me today. My name is Patricia Gack, and I am a remote manager. Today, I want to talk to all of you remote managers who are new to this because you've historically had offices with your teams being close and near to you. And now you're having to adjust to working remotely, and you might be struggling on how to do that effectively, how to work with your team in this distributed way, and still maintain visibility on what your team is doing and your projects. So if you are new to remote and virtual working, you might want to have a look at the other video that I did a couple weeks back around checking in with your team, which had some tips and tricks around checking in with your team. Today, I want to talk about project management. So project management is a huge part of visibility when you're working remotely, and you want to implement a project management tool that is online and collaborative and transparent so that everybody can see what everybody else is doing. You can see where projects are at, and people can collaborate together. And this will help alleviate a lot of the stress around what projects are on, what are people doing, how are they doing at that, and what happens when they don't do it, right? So I often say that doing project management remotely requires a mindset shift from thinking that people are going to work 8 hours because they're in the office in front of their computer to looking at what they're doing with their time and if they're working efficiently, and having the trust to not need to micromanage that time, because if you hire the right people and you give them the right objectives and you're clear in expectations, then you don't need to watch what they do, right? And it doesn't matter that they're not in the office with you, and your team can function efficiently, and you can have a really happy, productive team in a remote environment if you set up the right processes and you're using the right tools and the right attitudes, right? So I'm going to talk about 3 different management tools. The 3 that I've selected today are a good cross set of different types of project management tools. There's tons of project management tools, and each one might be better suited to your company depending on your size, the types of clients you work with, the type of work you do, the size of your team, the type of team you have, right? So all of these are different variables that you need to consider. But I'm going to start by talking about Trello. Trello is a very light project management tool, very easy, user-friendly. Then I'm going to look at Asana, which is a little more data-friendly. You can get some good reports out of Asana. It's still very visual, fairly user-friendly, but it is a project management tool that requires some adoption. And then finally, I'm going to look at something new that I'm working with called ClickUp, which is a mix of project management with a wiki type thing. Very cool. So we're going to just dive right into that. I'm going to share my screen. So here's Trello. I create a little board with Trello. Very easy to do this, by the way. You just need to go to Trello, start a new board, and they have these templates that you can pull in. And I just basically created this board using their basic template called Remote Team. It's all there, very easy. So try that, have a look at it. And as you can see, it's very visual. It has these columns that we call swim lanes in project management speak. So the first one is team info column, and this will have information about the team, about resources, working hours, how you collaborate, type thing. Then current projects, completed projects, and then a resource board. And what's really cool about Trello is that you can just move stuff around, right? So for example, this card here is in the team resources. And this is the template card. So it's giving you some placeholder text about what you would say and use this card and how you would do it. What's cool is that I can just grab that card and say, oh, you know what? It belongs more in the resources. So let me put that there, right? And it's that easy. Current project, completed project, same thing. Grab it, put it there. Now it's completed. Here I've got some projects. So I'm going to open this one here, which is a landing page that I'm creating. I have a due date for May 15th. These are the different parts of my tasks. So these are subtasks. This is just a little checklist that I created, and you can use Trello here to create these checklists. And when I'm done, so I've already done my intro for this landing page, I would click on it and it tracks how far you're doing, right? Super cool. You can add comments. As you've seen, you can add pictures to them. Trello's very easy to use if you want to add another card. So I'm going to add another heart. I'm going to call this create video, enter, and there it is. You go in, I can fix that typo. I can add text around here. And then if I want to add a checklist, I just add a checklist and then I have my items here, right? That easy. So add members to your team and then assign them to that task, but it's not really assigning a task. It's more who's working on this or involved in it. So Trello's not really good if you need to do reporting. That's a little tough. So let's look at when you do need to do a little more reporting and more sophisticated task assignment. I created this board using the Asana template. It had one for a checklist for managers when onboarding new hires. I like the idea of having task templates like this because it does help you get familiar with a software if you've never used it before. Each one of these has a little guide on how to use them. This project came with 3 sections already. And like Trello, it's very easy to add new information to this. So I can change this and call this, for example, the first month. And I'm going to add a task here called survey. And the great thing about Asana is you can add subtasks as well and assign these to different people. This will be the send out the form, and then I can have another one called add to report. And I could assign this one to one person and this one to a different person and have different dates for each one, but I can assign the actual survey and put that to a date. I can add a date 1 month after and assign it to myself, for example. Okay, so I own the tasks, but there are different subtasks to this, and each one of these has a different date or is assigned to a different person. And then when I look at the calendar, those dates will be reflected in the calendar. There it is. Now, this is something that you don't have in Trello, and it's really nifty when you need to be able to look at progress and do a little bit of analysis. So when you're looking at a task list like this, you can filter, you can sort, you can choose the fields that you see here. And Asana also offers an export at the project level to CSV. You can export that to Excel or Google Sheets and then do whatever you want with it. So Asana offers a little more insight like that you don't have with Trello. And the third one is ClickUp. And again, I use a template for ClickUp. ClickUp has a really smooth onboarding process. It's just really neat. Kind of really digging this one. So here we have our different sections. Okay, so the sections that it gave me for this getting things done template was next actions, what schedule, what are we waiting on, the project list, the tickler files, so things that don't have a date or might not be that relevant, and then reference section. And again, you still have the same thing. So you have a board with each thing here, And then you also have the calendar for anything that is scheduled. What I really like about this as well is that it has this little wiki section. So you can add documents around these projects and keep information on them. So this one, the documents are basically just giving you a template guide around how you would use these different lists. But it could be anything, right? If you're managing your projects and you could keep your data right in here, and then move it to Drive or whatever tool you're using after. So that's essentially the three tools I wanted to discuss. Of course, this is a very high level, very simplistic look at it, but you can get a better idea of how you could use each one and what's appropriate for you. I am definitely here for support if you have questions about how to get started with these and the templates aren't helping you, or if you need a little more guidance, feel free to reach out to me. I am always available to help. And I hope that this has been informative. So good luck with your projects and keep safe.